This is my Insta360 X3 action cam. It has been an amazing tool for video capture both on and off the bike. In today's video, I'm going to share how I use it to produce content for the channel. Typically, there's two types of videos. One of them would be kind of like how-to videos, like my video on cadence or my video on how to look back. And the other one would be my group ride videos where I try to capture or give that immersive feeling that makes you feel like you're on a ride with us. Well, that is the intent. I certainly hope that that's what we're conveying. But in the past, I would have to either be very strategic about where I place my camera, or I'd have to use a selfie stick, and that would be dorky because you could see me holding a selfie stick. Or I'd have to like ring up one of my friends and say, yo, bro, are you busy? And while my friends were always super accommodating with me and their schedule to help me to get that footage or to get that capture, it wasn't always convenient in terms of either their schedule or my schedule. And by the way, the people who are called friends of the channel are phenomenal. But having this camera allowed me to just say, you know what, this is a good time for me to go out, and allowed me to go out and capture the content and to take my time without having to worry about somebody else's schedule. So needless to say, it has really been a game changer, even though friends of the channel are super awesome. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share how I mount it, where I mount it, and then I'll delve in a little bit to how I mess around with the editing and the software to kind of like capture that spinny around thing that people oftentimes ask me about. All right, let's go.
This is Mercury.
Oh, oh Lord. Giant went disc brakes. That's all I'm getting out of this.
I know.
Giant went disc brakes. After acquiring my camera, I had to figure out what type of accessory or mount system I was going to use to securely attach the camera to the bike to be able to capture the shots that I do. And that included me getting this. The first accessory that I got was the motorcycle mount. And I also at the same time got the invisible selfie stick. It really is not an invisible selfie stick. I'll explain through the magic of technology how basically any sturdy selfie stick will do. But first I'm going to show you how I use the motorcycle mount, where I place it, and also the importance of understanding how far you can extend your selfie stick so that it does not interfere with the cycling that you're doing. This is all dependent on the size of the group and that kind of stuff. So let's look at attachment points of the motorcycle mount. So first I'll attach the motorcycle mount to the seat post, and it works really good on this bike because this is just a traditional round 27.2 seat post. It is carbon, so you've got to take care with that with the clamping. It's got some little rubber grippers, which helps in keeping it attached without having to apply too much torque. And once we've done that, then I've got to figure out how far I'm going to extend the selfie stick depending on the type of ride that I'm doing. Usually if I'm by myself and I'm just trying to capture some footage, I can extend it out pretty far and even swing it out further out that way to capture myself pedaling or demonstrating some sort of technique. But usually on those big rides that you see me on, I've got it extended where I don't want it to extend too much further than where my tire ends. All right. And that's about here. And then I have this other attachment, and I can either move it up higher or I can move it down lower. I found that having it lower actually gets a better capture, as it captures your legs, your shoes, you pedaling, that kind of stuff. And that's typically how I'll have it mounted on a ride. One of the things that I have done is I've actually experimented with other bikes, trying to see how close I can get to the bike without hitting the camera. And basically what I have found is that when I've got it in this position, a person's handlebar, they would basically hit my derailleur with their front tire before they actually hit the camera with any part of their bike. So that's maybe something just for peace of mind that you want to do. Next, let's see what it's like to attach this onto the stem or the handlebar. The handlebar mount also very enably attaches to the stem. Again, as always, care needs to be given with the clamping forces. And then I'm going to open this up and reconfigure this. And I have found that the lower this is mounted, the better the shot you're going to get. And that's the way that you can use the motorcycle mount, the invisible selfie stick, to attach to the front of the bike. It's very sturdy. It also gives you the versatility here of being a little bit more liberal with where you place it. I'll raise it up as well. But you can actually have it off to the side a little bit to capture a little bit of a different view of your riding, people in the group, and things like that. But if we're really talking about taking it to another level, the ultimate mounting accessory would be to purchase the Insta360, what they call the third person mount. It comes with this mount that has attachments for you to mount other cameras, your bike computer. But it has this really cool carbon stick that I've even used this carbon stick along with the motorcycle mount. All right, just care is given to go under your cables. The last thing you want to do is to have this interfering with your cables. Or if you're cable free, then this is not an issue for you. Center it. Okay. Reattach and position the carbon bar. And we're done.
All right, let's take a look at editing. First, I'm going to open up a file that I have recorded using the Insta360. And what it does is it opens up the Insta360 Studio. And there are a couple prompts that I want to point out here. If you follow the mouse cursor, this first one is where my recording will start, or like a parentheses, beginning parentheses. This one is where the editing will stop. And then when we come over here, we've got this. It's very important. This is a keyframe. And next to the keyframe, we have deep track. I'm actually going to demonstrate how I use deep track. And the last prompt that I want to show is down here. This is for the export. So the first thing that we've got to do is learn about flipping the camera's orientation around. And if I just drag my mouse, drag and hold, or hold and drag, I can do basically a 360-degree panoramic view of everything that was taking place around me. So what I want to do is, on the timestamp down here, I want to move my cursor to a part of the recording that I want to edit. So we're going to scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. So this is where I want to be more or less. There's this little section right here where I kind of look back over my shoulder. And so we'll start here. And what I'll do is I'm going to lock in my starting point for the editing. And then I'm going to click on the first keyframe because I want to save the orientation that I'm going to use. And the keyframe doesn't actually lock in until I hit play. So I've got this here centered the way how I want it. And once I hit play, it locks in that first keyframe. So let's let this roll. So I look over my shoulder because I'm actually looking for some friends. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit pause. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the camera spin around or pan around. And I do that by grabbing and dragging again. So I just move a couple degrees off because I want to start the rotation. And I'm going to lock in a keyframe here. I'm going to hit play and let it run for about 1.5 seconds. I'm going to pause again, open up all the way to the orientation of what's going on behind me. This will make sense in a minute. Now I'm going to lock in this keyframe. Now I'm going to hit play. Those aren't the people that I'm looking for. And here's Adrian and Paola coming up. Let's hit pause. And then I'm going to come next to the keyframe button and I'm going to hit on deep track. And it's going to give me an option of things that I can track as they move or as I move by. What I want to do is I want to capture Paola, or I want to track Paola because Adrian is going to already be included in the frame. So I've got Paola and now I'm going to hit start tracking. It's going to give me this weird slow motion thing. And as soon as Paola gets into the orientation that I want, which is here, I can stop tracking. Now it gives me this weird look where Paola's arm looks super long and my butt, I don't know what to say about the way how that looks. Now I want to move this or readjust the keyframe, but I cannot add a keyframe onto the track. So what I've got to do is after I've ended the track, I've got to let this play for about just a half a second. And I pause it again. And now I can adjust the keyframe or the orientation. And I've got Paul and I side by side, basically in this orientation. So now I'm going to mark this keyframe and I'm going to hit play. And now let's pause and let's lock in the end of the editing. And that's how the editing is done. From there, I would simply click on export and then it gives me a little bit of a dialog box right here. And one of the things that it says is bit rate, and it defaults to a 25 bit rate number. If you export it with that low number, it's going to come out very pixely, so you're going to increase your bit rate, and I usually go to about 170 something, and I hit start export, and it's going to export that file, and we'll take a look at what the finished product looks like. And here's the final edit. I actually think it came out pretty good. Hey, if you've enjoyed this or benefited from this tutorial at all, please make sure that you give this video a like. You can help support the channel by subscribing, by commenting below, and by sharing our videos. As always, our aim here is to inform, instruct, inspire. Be blessed.